Jack Merridew, The Story Behind the First Dictator of the UK by Juan Balserra, Alejandro Garcia, Alfonso Bejarano, and Lucas Botero.
Jack Merridew in the book is a boy of 12 years old that has a bright and peculiar red hair. He also portrays a robe that describes perfectly his personality. In the book, he is the principal illustration of the conflict between savagery and deciphered power. When you see him to the eyes, you perceive horror and disconfiance, and also his past background has influenced in his temper during the book development as an authoritarian figure in an island with no rules. 35 years later, he is now a politician that is in charge of all the public assets of the society. He now likes to wear formal clothes and also oversized clothes with tones of charcoal gray and black, and he's still generating a little bit of disconfiance and horror in his new role as a politician, and he's valorated as a good people, but he is still having in his mind that savage moments that he had in the island.
Jack Merridew at the book. He was tall, with red hair, freckles, and light skin. He also loved to be the leader and preferred to be the first or the one that determined who was in charge of what and determined the roles of the group. He also loved to hurt others by demonstrating power. Now, 35 years later, Jack is 47 years old and he's a politician. He still keeps his red hair and freckles and his light skin, but he likes to keep in shape and loves to do extracurricular activities such as camping.
We all know that Jack's ambition is to become the main leader of all the kids and to create his own society that denies civilization and orders. But that is controversial because of the core he used to demand discipline. Jack wanted power, but in the book that is one of the most conflicts because it's savage versus civilization. The anger with Ralph, it's in the past with the loose elections and Ralph failing to kill the pig. 35 years later, Jack starts his new political party named Hunters of Democracy, and Jack has now grown into a serious figure that desires power and control all over the UK. His main goal is to have a political situation where no one can judge his actions or what he thinks and do.
On one hand, Jack's inner conflicts are related to his ambition to constantly kill and his very violent behavior, which is used to set his dominance. Also, though he has to pay his own trip, he is obsessed with power and leadership, creating chaos and rivalries like Ralph. On the other hand, even 35 years later, as a consequence of his trauma, Jack continues loving violence and authority. He is now a politician with a heavy attitude, doing things such as kicking cameras and insulting the media.
Jack's relationship is still the same. In the novel, Jack's quest for power starts by befriending Ralph, the group leader, but soon this turns into a rivalry over leadership and priorities, jokes like hunting versus keeping the fire alive. Jack's authoritarian rule attracts followers like Roger, forming a group of hunters that opposes Ralph and Piggy, leading to increase the savagery and the tragic deaths of innocent characters. 35 years later, Jack is a politician still driven by a need for control, limiting freedoms and clashing with Ralph by disrespecting him in his social media that is evident in a post of his Instagram profile.
In the book, Jack starts to develop the savagery and the leadership that characterizes him and shows him up to the rest of the book. He was constantly abusing others, hitting others, and commanding without the authority of Ralph. 35 years later, Jack shows us that he can be a bit changed, but when it comes to the politician disorder, Jack shows sometimes his instincts of primal survival or fury and anger.
In the book, Jack shows a lot of interest in being the main leader of all the kids in the island. His love for hunting shows his dark side and the desire for power. Now, let's look forward 35 years from now. Jack is positioned as a political leader thanks to his past and his way of influencing people like he did with all the kids in the island.
Jack's Instagram profile expressed his personality and his work. It said that he's the founder of the Hunters of Democracy, that he's a political leader, and he survived to tell his story. There are two pinned photos that are the logo of his party, that is a pig, and a picture saying the oppression that democracy is causing. Practically all his Instagram profile is talking about the democracy oppression and his point of view of the Democrats.